What if I told you wealth has nothing to do with luck, salary, or hard work? What if the rich don't earn more than you, they just position themselves inside the right system? And what if the real problem isn't that you don't make enough, but that your money has nowhere to return? Ask yourself. If a lifetime of hard work never leads to freedom, who is your effort actually serving? If one shift in perspective could change everything, would you stay until the end to hear it? What if I told you that wealth doesn't come from luck, doesn't come from a high income, and doesn't even come from hard work? What if it comes from something invisible, something 99% of people in Singapore are never taught? The financial architecture inside your mind. In a fast, high-pressure, competitive country like Singapore, where the cost of living quietly consumes your effort and time, are you working harder than ever, yet not getting any closer to financial freedom? If that's how you feel, you are not alone. So many people are running, but running without a map. They earn money, but don't control money. Their income increases, but their freedom doesn't. They have jobs, but no systems. They have money, but no structure. And here's the harsh truth, in Singapore, the more you try to save money based on instinct, the faster you lose it through the system. Welcome to Financial Awakening. If you are watching this, it means a part of you already suspects there's another path. A path not built on luck or extraordinary talent, but on financial clarity, seeing where your money flows, where it leaks, the psychological traps keeping you stuck, and the choices you think are safe, but actually prevent you from ever moving forward. This truth may be uncomfortable. The wealthy are not playing the same game as everyone else. While most people work hard to earn money, the wealthy work hard to build systems. While most people fear debt, the wealthy use it as a tool. While most people buy to impress, the wealthy invest to open doors. And while most wait for a salary increase to change their lives, the wealthy build financial architecture that increases income even when they're not present. So the real question is no longer, why am I not rich yet? The real question is, are you living inside someone else's system, or building your own? If this opening resonates with you, hit subscribe to support Financial Awakening. Every subscription is motivation. It's what keeps us creating content that brings you closer to real financial freedom. Before we continue, I want you to reflect and comment below. What belief about money is keeping you stuck, and how would your life change if you replaced it? In Singapore, many people earn well but never become wealthy. Not because they can't make money, but because they can't make money stay. The thing holding them back isn't income, it's the lack of a system. They were trained to be good employees, but never trained to be the architects of their own financial lives. From education to employment, from CPF to taxes, from insurance to housing, everything operates within a structure. Yet their personal finances have no structure to protect them. This is why someone can earn 4 Singapore dollars, 6 Singapore dollars, even 10 Singapore dollars a month, and still feel the same suffocating pressure every time they check their bank balance. Money arrives fast and disappears faster. They feel guilty when spending, anxious when bills arrive, and helpless when they realize that despite trying harder each year, financial freedom stays the same distance away. They are not drained by low income. They are drained by the lack of financial architecture around that income. A proper financial system is not about cutting life down to survival mode. It is about clarity. It is knowing where every dollar goes, why it goes there, and when it will return. It is assigning money a purpose. Which dollars protect your life? Which dollars build assets? Which dollars buy your future freedom? When you see money as a controlled flow instead of a reaction to emergencies, you understand that wealth isn't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And what the money does after leaving your wallet. In Singapore, housing alone can consume 30 to 50% of income. Add taxes, insurance, social pressure, and lifestyle comparison, and the trap is set. Without structure, people work endlessly to fund the present while abandoning the future. Meanwhile, the wealthy grow richer not because they are gifted, but because they operate from a system that multiplies every financial decision instead of reacting to it. Ask yourself, if your income stopped for 3 months, what would carry you? If that question creates fear, it's not a failure, it's a signal. A signal that you are living without structure. And once you see the system, You can start building your own. Not by working harder, but by working with intention. In Singapore, many believe that being debt-free means being safe. Yet that very belief keeps them stuck. Fear of debt makes them reject opportunities. Fear of risk prevents expansion. Fear of being wrong traps them in the same place year after year. They work harder, but life does not change. Their income rises, but their limits remain. Time passes, but progress doesn't, because at its core, they are not held back by money, they are held back by the lack of leverage. Rockefeller understood early. The wealthy don't use debt to survive, they use debt to build. They don't borrow to consume, they borrow to construct. They don't use other people's money to fund the present, they use it to secure the future. While the world fears debt, he turned it into a tool, a bridge, a door, a force that carried him where others could never go. Not all debt is dangerous, only debt without a plan. Strategic borrowing is not a burden, it is trajectory. Singapore's high-speed economy makes this truth sharper. Saving alone cannot build wealth. Prices rise faster than savings accounts can grow. Inflation erodes stored money silently. Avoiding debt at all costs does not create wealth, it creates stagnation. Opportunity is not always funded by the money you have, but by the money you know how to use, even if it isn't yours. The shift in mindset is what defines the wealthy. Ordinary people ask, "Do I have enough to start?" While wealthy individuals ask, "If I start, how will this asset pay for itself?" Debt for consumption is a liability. Debt for assets, systems, infrastructure, or profitable skill sets is a ladder. The question was never, borrow or don't borrow. It was borrow with purpose or remain still. You can spend decades saving to take one step, or you can leverage correctly and move 5 to 10 years ahead. Leverage doesn't make you reckless, it makes you strategic. It's not borrowing money, it's borrowing position. It's not carrying debt, it's climbing with help. So ask yourself honestly, will you continue doing everything with only your own strength? Or is it finally time to let external resources start working for you? Here's a truth many avoid. In the financial world, credibility is more valuable than the cash you hold. You can have 5 Singapore dollars in your bank and still be blocked from opportunity. And you can have much less, yet gain access to capital, partnerships, and growth, simply because you possess something more powerful than money: trust. Rockefeller understood this with clarity. He didn't just build wealth, he built credibility. And that credibility became invisible capital, the strongest kind. When banks lent to him, they weren't lending money, they were lending belief. When investors partnered with him, they weren't betting on the business, they were betting on the man. He paid when he said he would. He delivered when he promised. It wasn't just ethics, it was strategy. In Singapore, this lesson cuts even deeper. This is an economy built on data, credit scores, repayment discipline, transparency, and reputation. A late payment, a broken agreement, a reckless loan, it doesn't just cost fees. It costs trust. And trust is the passport to capital. Lose that, and doors close silently. Many Singaporeans are not stuck because they lack talent or ambition. They are stuck because no one believes they are ready to handle leverage. Credibility is not built by speaking well, but by managing money well. Pay on time, record everything, borrow for assets, not lifestyle. Don't use debt to impress people who don't care. These are not small actions. They're the foundation of financial access. Rockefeller had moments with no cash, but he never allowed a moment with no credibility. Because he knew, you can recover money, but it is nearly impossible to recover trust once it collapses. When credibility falls, wealth falls with it. When credibility stands, capital finds its way to you. So the question now isn't, how much money do you have? The real question is, how much trust can your name command? Build a life where the future believes in you. Singapore has a belief, to move forward. Work harder. But in modern finance, that belief is a ceiling. Because working harder doesn't create freedom. Building the right system does. Rockefeller didn't aim to be the best oil seller. He became the one who built the structure everyone else depended on. Others sold the product. He owned the path the product required. They earned once, he earned continuously. This is the missing lesson for most people. Don't build a life that relies on your effort. Build a system that relies on your existence. When you stop working, Your system continues. When you rest, money still flows. When you're unavailable, the structure doesn't collapse. That's not magic. That's architecture. In Singapore's high-cost economy, where living expenses rise faster than salaries, overtime isn't escape, it's entrapment. More hours only deepen dependency. The exit isn't effort. The exit is infrastructure. You must shift from, I work to earn, to, I build what money must move through. That is the difference between labor and leverage. A system doesn't need to be massive. It can start small. A skill packaged into a service others can deliver for you. An automated sales funnel. A recurring digital product. A network that scales beyond your time. A simple cash flow portfolio that pays you monthly. When infrastructure exists, you don't chase money. Money returns to you. Rockefeller's advantage was simple. The seller competes. The system owner decides. In Singapore's fast, expensive, efficiency-driven landscape, the individual with structure will always outperform the individual with stamina. So ask yourself, are you fighting to be the best player in someone else's system? Or quietly building the system others will have to pass through? Financial freedom begins the moment you stop asking, how can I earn more? And start asking, how can my system pay me even when I'm not here? In the end, the difference between those who simply make money and those who actually build wealth is not luck, talent, or the number of hours they work. It's the system they live inside. Rockefeller, Buffett, and every long-term wealthy individual share the same core principle. Wealth comes from structure, not strain. They track money to control its direction. They build systems so value continues even when they aren't present. They use leverage as a tool, not a threat. And above all, they protect credibility like an invisible asset, because when trust is yours, opportunity follows. The real lesson here is simple. Don't start with the question, how much can I earn? Start with, what is my money doing for me? Your income matters less than the architecture behind it. Begin with small steps. Track your cash flow. Manage debt with intention. Design repeatable income. And build systems that can scale beyond your time. If you could change just one financial habit today, what would it be? Comment your answer below. I'd love to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe to Financial Awakening so we can continue creating content that moves you closer to financial freedom.